Mommy and Daddy used to leave home, I would say at 7, and never come back home till 7.
I think it was something that we all got accustomed to, you know. This was his way, this was his life, this was his job. And
when we heard the car coming down Dixon Avenue, and they're coming, and we would run out there and sing, right? Mommy and Daddy, we would sing. You know, we were always thrilled when they came home.
I think we all acquired an eye for his art, because it was always around us.
I grew up around the Nortons. My parents, Aunt Noel and Mary Norton, were friends. I ended up going to work with Mary Norton. I worked with her as her assistant at Norton Studios.
I thought I knew everything about photography. And when I started working, I realized I didn't know anything. It was just the scrapings on top what I...
I have never once heard my parents argue about anything except work. It was never anything personal, only ever about work. Whether this shoot should happen, how it should happen, and so on and so on. It was always about work. Really, my mother in many ways made my father who he was, because he was a bit reserved and a bit, I would say, shy. There were moments when I could see that Daddy was shy. He was uncomfortable being in the public. He was really a person to be in his dark room, be a creative, just make his work. Mommy was his front in many ways. She could work well with the public. She was a people person. And I think she really was a tremendous support to Daddy. I think we would all agree that he would probably not have gone as far as he went had it not been for Mommy.
This is not a door, it's a no. So everything went. I mean, for his job, she pushed him, she moved him, and he was one of the greatest photographers, I have to say this.
I think I was one of his first models as a baby. He won a competition with me using my photograph. It was a milk ad that he did.
And he laid in bed and he followed the whole history of a hummingbird, from mating to making the nest to the baby coming along and coming. And he got those photographs in detail. It was just so amazing that this thing, and the patience, as he said, he sat for about 4 hours just waiting for a shot.
He never went for second measures, that's for sure, as far as photography is concerned. If I think I did something great, he will tell me this is not good, and he will dump it in the dustbin. And later on I got to realize how important it was. We had a small little thing, but I realized all he wanted was quality and hard work.
He would travel a lot with Vogue and Norman Parkinson. And when he would go for like 3 months, 4 months at a time. It was a long time. And it was a bit odd, you know, you would miss him. But he would come back and show us movies. Like literally, we would sit in the living room and he would show us all of the slides from his trips in Tahiti and Peru. And I remember thinking when I was young, oh my God, this world is amazing. You know, honestly, I used to think that, I remember thinking that. He showed us Trinidad and Tobago. Really, he showed us Trinidad and Tobago, and he showed us the world. His photographs opened the world to us, because the truth is we were at school here, and I never left here until I was left here for the first time literally on a plane until I was maybe 15. There was a phase when they were at Fitch Street, Trinidad Photographers Limited. They moved the office from Fitch Street, they went to Pembroke Street. From Pembroke Street, they went to Marley Street and then to the mall, and in different phases. But there was a huge chunk of time when Daddy actually had studios right here where we are standing. This was, you know, there were 3 dark rooms here. He had all of his files. This was in a phase, I think, before they went to West Mall, after Marley Street. They set up dark rooms. We had a lot of work here. We had every file here. I would come home from school, go straight into the dark room to see what he was doing. One day, you know, I happened to see Peter and in a performance, and I said, really, we were talking, you know, we really need to do a book. And indeed, but they had had an earlier conversation, I think probably when they were at West Mall, because Peter Minshall used to go there every Wednesday to review all of the work that Daddy took at Carnival time. And so he would sit with Mommy, go through everything, and I guess Mommy and himself had been having a discussion about one time we must do a book. And that was a discussion, but they scribbled notes on a piece of paper, which I found while I was searching through the files.
During the Carnival period, it was something that he did on a constant basis. Both Mom and himself were there at the Savannah.
If asked, my father would say, well, you know, I only shoot Carnival for fun. He spent tremendous time consistently, and when I say tremendous time, the book shows this. The book Minshall by Norton shows his excitement about Peter Minshall's creativity, and I think he really wanted the world to see and remember what Peter did. Ashraf came along with me on this little joyride. We had no money and no way of starting. We didn't know how we would begin, but we just wanted to begin.
This has been his life's work, so it's very important to him and to us to have been able to do just another book.
But Trinidad is a hard place, and I wrote maybe 20 letters to companies going out begging, can you help us? Because Noel Norton Collection had some money to be able to put into this, and certainly assets of the work. It wasn't easy to get the support to do this book. This would only have been possible because of the support of NGC. When I walked in the door at NGC and NGC seemed positive, I can't tell you, no kidding, I was overjoyed. You know, really overjoyed by that. We had already received a very small amount from Angostura, which gave us an incentive to keep fighting up, you know. But it was only until we were able to close what was a significant gap with NGC's support. Honestly, it would not have become a reality.
So there's a lot of things I learned from Mr. Norton that I would have never learned in a college or university or anywhere. I learned a lot about life also.
Photography and photographs were always part of our lives.
Every day was a different excitement for us to work with.
He was a self-appointed historian. I am saying that because when I go through his work, he has an amazing database of not just Carnival, but lots of Carnival, industry, key people, portraits, weddings, the history of advertising. I mean, the building of this nation, significant structures, the University of the West Indies, building of Digger Martin. I mean, he has a significant database here. I don't think you do that just for fun.